so I'm going to just get right into it. And right here I got all the parts laid out. As you can see, I got all the parts bags, all the tires, wheels, chassis. Right there you can see the chassis. It's all brand new. It's pretty cool. Check this out. So this is a roll of double-sided tape. It came in the kit. And it's still sticky. That's pretty cool because think about it. This kit's 30 years old. Think about that. 30 years ago this was made. It looks brand new because it's all brand new in the package, unopened, but it's 30 years old. So I got all the parts laid out, so now I'm just going to go through the owner's manual. And I'm going to build this off the manual just because it's an RC10T. With a clodbuster, I usually don't use the owner's manual. I once built a clodbuster with no manual in 4 hours. So let's take a look through the RC10T manual. The all-new RC10T truck instruction manual, a new technological breakthrough. Look at that. That's cool. Even the artwork is old school, like 1990s. It's awesome. I miss those days. It was such a better time. Everything wasn't so like PC and everything. Way better time. So let's take a look at what we got here. It's just your standard instruction manual. Everything was black and white, clear pictures, easy to follow instructions, stealth transmission. Pretty much a normal RC kit. Right here is your decal sheet. This thing's mint. There's no like lifting at all, so these should be perfect. All the numbers for the number plate. It's pretty cool right there. Budweiser. Nowadays you definitely don't have beer sponsored decals in an RC car. Mickey Thompson, STP, Pennzoil, Dixie Pick. So that's pretty cool. Alright, what else we got? Parts ID, just is like an exploded diagram of the transmission and all the greases and stuff with part numbers in case you misplace something or break it. It's pretty cool. It's actually for the whole thing. Look at that, it's cool. So every screw, every part, there's a part number for. Tires too, shocks. Probably not any good today, but still pretty cool. What do we got here? Racing with Team Associated, February 1992. So I'm guessing that's when this kit came out, was 1992. So it's 1992 International Race Champions. Reedy International Race Champions. So that must have just been like a Team Associated sponsored race or something. Just something to promote the RC10T. Not that it really needed it because the RC10 and the RC10T was tops. They outsold everything. Losi was big back then too. They were like a smaller USA made company. They made like the, I believe it was the LXT, JRXT, JRX2 and all that stuff. And check out that guy, Rick Howard. It says right down here in the caption, Rick Howard won the overall international class, driving on an RC10 two-wheel drive team car and a Kyosho four-wheel drive car. The combined points with peak performance power gave Rick the winning edge. Definitely has got a sweet mullet. His mullet game is definitely right on point. He's right up there with MacGyver. Little bit of feathering, he's going to be like touching Bon Jovi status. Definitely impressed. So anyway, now we'll get to putting all the stuff together. So I got all the parts bags laid out. I already started the first step. This kit's very easy to assemble, and it's crazy because when I was a kid building this, it was kind of intimidating. Not really intimidating, but it was definitely an intense build. But now that I've built so many more modern vehicles and race cars, monster trucks, things like that, I look back at this. Check this out. This has got to be the easiest, most well thought out kit I've ever assembled. It's crazy because, like I said, back then it was intense. So the way this works, each step has its own bag, and each bag comes with its own bag of hardware. So see, you got all the plastic pieces, all the different steps. They have all the hardware like that. And then there's even a separate bag for the transmission. So you got all the transmission parts. I remember assembling this was a little tricky though. There's these little, like a ball diff, but it really not too bad, so that's going to be cool to start on that. I already assembled the front tires. These are the skinnies. So if you take a look, the box right here came with skinny tires and wide tires. Skinny ones, the idea behind that is one, it's less rolling resistance, but also it can dig into the dirt better, and the front end wouldn't push in the corners. They definitely handle well. I like that a lot. And right out of the box, this kit uses bead lock wheels. Check this out. These are the rear ones. spike tires, nice compound. So the way this works is, this goes inside the tire, this inner piece. And you have one half goes in like that, other half goes on the other side, and you just put the screws right in there, and it clamps in on that ring. So that's nice. So the tire can never spin. You don't need to glue it. So when you want to change tires, you don't have to scrape off glue and all that stuff. It's really easy, really clean. So I like that. I wish they still came with this. I think the new kits don't even come with wheels and tires. It's pretty crazy. And see right here, I was saying every bag, even the tires, has its own hardware. So you can't mix up the screws. So really, this kit would be very easy to build without the instruction manual. So I wish Associated and all the other kits would go back to something like this. So anyway, I'll get back to putting the rest of the kit together. Alright, check it out, front end complete. All the A-arms are on, shock towers, bumper, steering. One thing I like to do, if you take a look, if you look at all the fasteners, they're all clocked in the same direction. Meaning like where the screwdriver goes in, they're all pointing in the same direction. So I do that wherever I can, as long as I'm not over or under torquing the fastener. Sometimes if you're tightening the metal, like aluminum or steel, it's kind of harder to do. Most of the time though, if it's off, you can just take it back out, restart it in a different position, and it'll tighten up in the same place. Plastic's a lot easier than metal, but just a nice little touch I like to add. So now, it's time to move on to the stealth transmission. And this thing had me intimidated when I was a kid, because if you take a look right here, there's all these little ball diffs. Can be kind of tricky, but shouldn't be a big deal. So this is going to be fun, so I'll get right to it. So before I start putting the stealth transmission together, I got to do something about this bench. Look how messy this bench is. This is what happens when you take on too many projects at the same time. I actually started building this RC10T like a month and a half ago, but these have been taking up all my time. Anyone real familiar with my channel knows I also build Freddy Krueger gloves. And I've been making these for a long time. They look just like the movie ones, and it's so time consuming to build these because every movie had like 5 different gloves at least used for the movie, and every movie had a different glove. And when I make these, I make sure every detail is exact. I have all these screenshots from all the different gloves used in the movies. But not only that, these leather gloves right here haven't been produced in over 30 years, so tracking those down is very difficult. And when I make these, I use premium materials, blade materials like an indestructible stainless, like a tool steel. And even that's getting kind of hard to get right now. So I still have orders from 2020, but I told everybody like they gotta bear with me, and they were all like, no problem. I told them anytime they want their deposit back, I'll give it back to them, but they don't mind waiting, so that's awesome. I love when people are patient. So anytime I'm doing any kind of gear work, whether it's transmission or differential, I like to do all my work on a piece of glass. Like right here is a thick commercial grade glass. You can pick that up at like a hardware store or a glass store, pretty cheap. But working on a piece of glass just means that all your parts are going to stay nice and clean. Cleanliness is next to cloudliness. But first I gotta clean this bench off, and I'll get to work on that transmission.